In this video, I'm going to break down 16 ways for you to monetize your expertise, meaning create a new income stream for your agency and or your service-based business. If you're new to this channel, my name is Greg Hickman. I'm the founder of Alt Agency, and really since 2017, we've been helping agencies, consultants, freelancers, service providers not only streamline their business, but find new ways to take the expertise that they've learned over decades of work and package it and monetize it in ways that allow them to generate income without just offering custom projects or selling their time for money in the form of a retainer. Now, I have to be honest, I've become obsessed with finding and brainstorming ways for our clients and our members to monetize the things that they know how to do and the skills that they've developed over the years doing client work. And it all really stemmed from my own pain in 2017 when our agency was growing and I didn't really have the capacity to take on more clients. And honestly, at the time, I didn't want to because I had escaped working in traditional agencies for the previous 10 years. And as my agency started growing and we reached around 13 people, I already knew from the previous 10 years that I didn't want a large company. I didn't want a lot of people on my team. I wanted it to be lean. I'm not against having an awesome team of rock stars and people that I love creating with. But for me, once I started feeling the pressure to have to hire people in order to grow, I had to start getting creative. And it wasn't until a prospect came to me and I turned him down. I said, look, we were on a wait list for a few months and they were really desperate to get the help. At that point, we had been building and deploying webinar funnels for a long time. And he's like, is there any way you can just show me how you do what you do and what I need? I'll do the work. Like me and my team will do it. And I finally agreed and I shared some SOPs that I had created and I recorded a couple Loom videos pointing him around, the software tools that we were both using and handed it off to him. And he was ecstatic. He was able to get the results that he needed in the time that he needed to. And I didn't need to be the one doing the labor. And that was really the beginning of my first training and implementation program, which is obviously one of the ways that I'm going to teach. But there's so many different ways. Now, in this video, like I said, I'm going to break down the 16 ways, but I want to first cover who I think, from an agency or service provider or freelancer, like who should not be looking to jump into all of the different ways of monetization just yet. Well, the first thing is if you are a new startup, meaning you just launched your agency and you've been in business for say less than a year, you might not have enough experience or proven processes yet to package something effectively, and you might kind of waste your time. So it might be beneficial to kind of date around for a little bit, figure out what you're best at, what the market needs. The second thing that might be an indicator that this is too soon for you is that you're getting inconsistent results for your existing clients. So if you don't have a track record, you haven't been getting consistent positive outcomes for clients, you might need to spend a little more time refining your methodologies before you start looking for the next income stream. You might also have a limited client base, meaning you've only ever served very few clients. And again, you might then not have enough data or experience to kind of back up any of these decisions. And lastly, if you're already overwhelmed as an owner, drowning in your client work, and you're struggling with like basic operations and time management, you probably should spend your time stabilizing your core business before you think about really expanding your income streams. Now, that being said, why a service provider or a digital marketing creative agency consider adding one of these income streams on top of, say, their existing services? Well, for me and the now 800 clients that we've served, many of us have a desire for scalability and we want to grow our business, specifically our income and our profits, without proportionally increasing our workload or team size. Now, I'm not going to pretend like this is some sort of passive income play. If you have expertise, yes, you can create digital products and courses, which are a great form of income, but you still have to market those things. You still need to keep them up to date. And it's not truly passive as many people define. However, if you have expertise and you've packaged that up into a digital product or a course of some sort or a program, you can definitely serve more people without necessarily hiring a ton of help. And you can also deliver support in ways that are more leveraged and asynchronous that don't mean you have to work a ton more hours for, hundreds of clients that you can serve through that income stream. You might also want to consider one of these income streams, one of these creative ways to package your expertise is if your current service-based income is inconsistent. consistent. Maybe you work in industries that have seasonal needs and you're looking to create more predictable, stable revenue by smoothing out some of the feast or famine by having products that are complementary that can kind of be bought year round. If you're like me, really want to think about increasing the profitability. If you're doing the services for clients, you're essentially monetizing stuff that you already have. So you're kind of looking in your backpack and saying, hey, this is something I've been doing a lot. Let me package this up and I can go sell that, which really helps me increase my profitability. So having a new way to monetize your experience, your intellectual property will allow you to have higher margins than, say, a traditional service business. Another reason to consider this is just changing client demands. So at the time of recording this, we're in a season and a marketing and economic climate where I think clients are just looking for more flexible, accessible, and affordable ways to access the outcome that you can provide and your expertise. We've seen a rise in AI, we've seen a rise in offshore talent, and having multiple ways for your ideal client to buy allows you to get yourself in the door, right? So you might also find that your clients have some of the team in-house to execute on the strategies that you can give. Thus, they only need your strategy. They don't need your team to do the execution work. So changing client demands, a lot of people are starting to bring things in-house. We also want to consider leveraging your existing knowledge, right? Many of us, after you've been serving clients for a certain amount of time, realize you have a lot of valuable intellectual property that's not being fully utilized. You are probably giving away strategy inside of your service delivery without even knowing it, probably giving away tons and tons of advice and mentorship and consulting that you've just thrown into your retainer that could easily be separate line items and live on their own. You also might want to just adapt to market trends, right? So there's a rise in digital products. There's a rise in online learning. That is a huge multi-billion-dollar industry, and that's not changing anytime soon. And the last two reasons why I think you might want to consider this is one, work-life balance. Having different ways to monetize, again, can allow you to be making money while you're out. It's a weekend. People can be buying your products all across the globe. You don't have to be available for sales calls for a lot of these things. So the ability to make money that's not directly tied to you being in fulfillment because you've already created some of these things and you package these deliverables up allow you to kind of focus more time and effort towards the things that matter most. And one of the other reasons that I think digital products, specifically the ways that we're going to talk about packaging this up as like an affordable solution, is that in this economy right now, and again, our marketing climate for most agencies and service providers, you probably have experienced a decrease in trust, an increase in buyer skepticism. And if people are more cautious and you have multiple offerings at different price points, you can help people get into working with you at all different varying levels of client readiness and budget, which will allow you to further demonstrate your expertise and prove to those clients to be able to work with you in a way that they then believe that they're ready to hire you for your bigger ticket things. I mean, we've had some clients that we work with that their lowest affordable offer is 60 grand a year. And like, that's a big buying decision for a lot of their ideal clients. And so to have something that is 3 or 5 grand, that could be a very quick purchasing decision and then further validates that that's the type of vendor that they want to work with, they can go pay that 60K. All right. So the 16 ways to monetize, these are in no particular order. Training programs. My personal belief is that the first income stream beyond your done for you service should be a training program. And an example of this, there's tons, but for us, my agency Systemly, System.ly, when we had it, we were building webinar funnels live and evergreen. And our first training program was helping the actual client build out their live or evergreen webinar. And we trained them on how to do it themselves in-house. We gave them the tools, we provided resources, and we guided them through like a trainer would to get all the pieces and assets built and do it correctly. Classic examples of training in the marketing space are Digital Marketer's Digital Marketer Lab, which was a comprehensive training platform that was offering courses on various digital marketing topics. Again, training is one of those ones that I think almost every agency service provider that is experienced can offer, that will serve both the people that cannot afford you as well as the people that already have resources in-house to do the labor and they just don't know what to do. And so a training program that shows them your methodology is really brilliant. One of our clients, Casey, is amazing at Facebook ads and built a whole team around his own Facebook ads methodology. So he has a couple different ways to monetize. First, you need to learn his methodology because it's his methodology that allows other people to be trained on it. It's a systematic way of running Facebook ads. Once you've created your own systematic way of doing something, well, then you could go teach other people how to do it. And so in this case, he has helped other founders, other agency owners build out their own internal media team because they first now know the way in which to run ads at scale. And two, now he's teaching them how to build build, hire, and train a team to support and grow their agency. And so you can see that no matter, what type of service you're in, there's a good chance that you have an opportunity to add training. Number 2 is digital products. This is I'll look at this as courses. These could be mini courses. When I think of digital products, I think of practically zero fulfillment. So you build it and then you can sell it over and over again. If you start adding support calls and things like that, that's going to be like coaching, training, which we'll get to in a second. Oh, I already talked about training, but digital products could be, I've bought tons of products around copywriting, sales pages. Ahrefs Academy is free courses and resources on SEO and content marketing. I'm not sure if it still exists, but I remember it did back in the day. And those indirectly promote their SEO tools also. So digital products could teach people stuff for affordable price that incorporate other tools and income streams that you could be offering them. So digital products are great. We've all seen, Masterclass and, all of those online learning platforms where you can go buy courses and consume. Number 3 is licensing and certification. I'm bucketing these together because oftentimes in the service-based world, coaching, training, consulting, you see people bundle these together. So an example, StoryBrand, they were selling their own workshops. Donald Miller created a framework that then he went and certified other consultants and said, hey, you can go, I'm going to certify you in this methodology, and then you can license all of my tools and the StoryBrand IP to go serve your clients. And you've probably heard of StoryBrand certified consultants. You might have seen this with EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. They have certification, run like clockwork, Action Coach. These are all programs that a consultant or a service provider can go to pay an annual fee or monthly fee to learn and get certified, and then pay an annual licensing fee to then go put a label on their website and say that they are licensed and certified by this organization and in this methodology and in this approach. Sandler Training is a classic sales training organization that licenses its training methodologies, content, and brand to independent trainers who then operate their own Sandler Training business. So that might be an opportunity for you to package up your way of doing things where, again, you don't need to grow your team, but you just need to be able to package and teach someone how to do the things you do and then license that out. That leads us to number 4, which is franchising. You don't see this a ton in kind of the agency space, but my son, for example, he goes to an after-school care called Kumon, and this is an after-school learning program, and it licenses its educational methods, materials, and brand to independent tutors for learning center operators. So there is Kumon on the door. Kumon, if you are licensing and franchising a location, the location that we go to, they have 3 or 4, and they have the rights to be in a certain zip codes here in Colorado where they have 2 or 3 different locations, but the Kumon label is on the door. Where in licensing and certification, you might not say, hey, my business is not called StoryBrand, but you can say, hey, it's Greg Hickman Consulting, and we are a StoryBrand certified consultant. So there's some rules and regulations and lines as to what the difference between licensing and franchising is. I'm not necessarily going into all of that today. Typically, you'll see licensing and certification a lot more in kind of the training, coaching, consulting, service-based sector. Number 5 is just consulting and coaching. So if you say are a Facebook ads agency, you might be able to add coaching or consulting around creative, how to develop higher converting creative, or how to work on their sales pages. Maybe you don't need to be the one to do the sales pages. You just have that experience already, but you can coach them or consult them on how to improve the things around the service that you actually deliver. I'm not sure if you've invested in coaches or consultants. There's a whole different slew of one-on-one, group, hybrid between coaching and courses and training, all of that stuff. But my point here is if you are doing a service, for example, we have a client who does brand identity. Outside of brand identity, he's watched hundreds of his clients take that brand to their marketing messaging and to their company and to, expand and kind of communicate to the employees what this brand and this story now means to the organization. While he doesn't actually do that for his clients, he's experienced a lot of the challenges that his clients have when now taking this new brand to market and to their company and their team. So in his coaching offer, he can help guide and advise them on how to roll that out internally so that all of the employees get it. How do you introduce all of the new branding, the logos, the marks, the taglines with the old? How do we update that? What order? What's important? How do we make this announcement? That's skills that he's developed over the years that he was not monetizing, but now he can through a coaching and consulting offer. The next one is speaking engagements. A good friend of mine, Grant Baldwin, he made a career of speaking, going around the country, and he made 6 figures, but it was exhausting. He was on the road all the time, didn't get to see his family. But if you're a business owner and you have a lot of expertise, you might be able to get paid to be on stage. And conversely, conversely, Grant, who was tired of being on stage, said, hey, I've developed a system for speakers to get on stages. Let me go teach other speakers how to build the business of speaking. And so then he launched a training and coaching offer, teaching other people how to add an income stream of speaking. So you can see he did both. But if you're an agency and you have a ton of demand for your brain and your expertise, you might be able to charge $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to get on a stage and speak, which could become another income stream. Number 7 is books and publications. Back to Donald Miller from StoryBrand. Well, guess what? He wrote a book called Building a Story Brand. So a book that outlines your marketing framework or your methodology is another income stream. Alan Weiss, $1 Million Consulting, the Consulting Bible. He's got so many books around consulting, owns the title of consulting, for decades. And he gets people buying his books, but then those people are interested in his services and his products, and he monetizes in many ways as well. Number 8 is software as a service. This is like HubSpot. So they started as an inbound marketing agency. They evolved into a comprehensive marketing, sales, and service software platform. So you might be able to build your own software that's helping you do your work that then becomes a new income stream. One of our clients, Chris, he created a little SaaS tool that was helping his clients value sponsorship. So they would go and host festivals or conferences, and they wanted to sell sponsorship packages. And his software, which is a low monthly ticket subscription, would allow them to go in and quantify and create clear packages that they could take to different sponsors to sell sponsorship at their events. And while it's not like a massive income stream, it is a software tool. They were using it internally, and they were able to go sell that and or incorporate it into their other packages, their consulting, their coaching. And now he creates this kind of, not necessarily ascension, but cross-sell, upsell, reselling, because they have people kind of connected to this software. Number 9 is software with a service, which is now called SWAS. So this is where I kind of see like the tech-enabled service come into play, specifically off-the-shelf tech. So HubSpot, they designed their own software. My client Chris designed his own software. But if you're in the agency world, you'd probably be living under a rock if you hadn't heard of Go High Level. Well, now there's tons of agencies and people that use Go High Level, and they execute services on top of that platform. When I started my agency, Systemly, we only worked with Infusionsoft, now Keap users. Then we added ActiveCampaign. And while it wasn't our software, we were able to get people to buy the software through us. So we got a percentage, and then we managed the service that utilized that tool, which brings me to number 10, affiliate programs. So like I said, we were an affiliate of ActiveCampaign. We were an affiliate of Keap, and we were able to say, hey, client, in order for us to execute these services, we believe you should be on this platform. We'll help migrate you. And if you just sign up here, we got a percentage of their revenue. So I still get paid today from clients that signed up for Keap and ActiveCampaign through my link from our previous services. Hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month come from that revenue stream, simply just having them sign up through our link. Most agencies and service providers have the opportunity to connect their customers to software that will pay out an affiliate percentage. Number 11 is mastermind groups. This is basically being a curator of really smart people in your industry. The classic example, which I don't believe exists anymore, at digitalmarketer.com, Ryan Deiss created what they called the War Room Mastermind, and it was like capped at like 100 people, and they did in-person events, and it was really about who's in the room, right? It's a high-end business group for a particular type of person. We have a mastermind. I've bought and joined multiple masterminds. We've had clients go into industries where the mastermind never existed, and they said, hey, look, I work with 5 to 10 of you, and you guys are the top players in this industry. What if I facilitate this group, right? There's ways that you can do that, okay? So bringing together all of your best clients into a room to share ideas and break bread is also a possibility for many of you. I remember when I was at Cabela's, I was their head of mobile. We were a part of a program, I believe at the time it was called Google X. It was basically Google's mastermind. Cabela's was there, Nordstrom was there, Bass Pro was there. So some of our competition, but top retailers that were using Google services that were interested in kind of the future of retail. And they got together multiple times a year and had conversations. What's working? Hey, here's the latest tech Google got to show that's coming. We were beta users of a lot of different features and things. Like that was basically a mastermind, bringing together the top minds in a space to share, collaborate, and be creative and support each other in growth is really powerful. Number 12 is productized services. There are so many examples, and I've done so many videos on productized services on this channel, but Testimonial Hero, Scribe Writing, Design Pickle, VidChops, Repurpose House, Content Cucumber. These are all productized services, some of which are recurring services like a Design Pickle or a Repurpose House. But Scribe Writing, which was one of the first like book in a box, it's like, hey, we'll help you write your book. That's a one-off project, but it was a 4 to 6 month experience, and you would go through a very very curated, productized process. And at the end, you'd go from an idea to having your book published, marketed, and being sold inside of different stores and online, etc. So productized services, productized consulting even can be one-off. It doesn't always have to be recurring. Productized consulting outside of Scribe Writing or even Testimonial Hero, which has one-off packages. I remember the first productized consulting offer I saw was by a company called UI Breakfast, and they did UI and UX product strategy for SaaS companies. And it was basically like monthly creative direction, and you'd sign up in like 90-day packages. So whether it's recurring or one-off or a multi-month engagement, if it's a very specific outcome, you can also productize services and consulting. Number 13 is media and content creation. Look at like Neil Patel, his blog, like there's sponsors. If you create enough content and you get enough viewership, people will advertise on your channels, right? You've probably seen ads on YouTube if you are not on premium. So there are people that drive high volume of views that make 5, 10, 15, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars a month just from people advertising on their content. So if you are prolific in your content creation and you can drive a lot of volume, having people advertise on your content could be really interesting. And this ties to both 14 and 15, which are sponsorships and paid newsletters. If you're on any newsletters or you listen to any podcasts, Tim Ferriss, for example, I was listening to that on the way here. He has multiple sponsors that pay thousands of dollars per episode to be featured on his show. You've probably heard paid sponsorships on many of the podcasts you listen to or many of the YouTube videos you listen to. I'm a huge fan of MKBHD, Tech Reviews. There are videos that have sponsors, right? That helps him pay for his team on top of all of the other things that they do to drive revenue. If you subscribe to Justin Welsh, each Saturday he sends an email. That email is sponsored by an advertiser who's basically paying to get in front of Justin's audience. That's a paid newsletter. So you might be the go-to voice with the go-to newsletter in your industry, and there other brands and services might want to get in front of your audience, and a paid newsletter is an option. And lastly, number 16 is workshops and events. We've done a lot of like these $100 workshops where we teach for about 1 to 2 hours. We train on some tactical, some high-level strategies. It's been a great way for us to take expertise from our other services and our programs and monetize stuff that already existed to a new audience that wasn't necessarily ready for our higher paid coaching, consulting, training. And so again, I think a really good entry point for something more affordable could be an event, could be a virtual workshop that's a couple hours. You teaching something that you know to your market is a great way to, again, add another income stream to your business. So there you have it. That's 16 ways to monetize your expertise. Now, some quick pitfalls that I want to quickly call out before you jump into adding all of these things at once. So the first one is trying to have all 16 of these as ways that you monetize. I don't think you need or should try to have as many as 16 ways, but 3 to 5 of the ones that align well with you and your skill set, your market can be really, really powerful, creating the type of life that you want. So trying to do all of them is the first pitfall. Trying to package too soon. Again, many agencies attempt to productize before they've truly mastered their craft or developed any sort of repeatable process or methodology or approach. It goes without saying that if you try to do all of these things, you could be overcomplicating your offer. So in an attempt to provide more value, I see people race to add all of these income streams, but then it's really hard to market and sell those. So you don't really have money coming in from them. So there is a fine line of rolling these out and a strategy and introducing these to your market over time, because you can't introduce all of these things all at once. It really does create confusion to your ideal buyers, which is why if you're interested in getting help on doing this for your business, you can check the link in the description. You can schedule a call with my team. You can learn a little bit more about how we work in the process and see if you want to get our help following our step-by-step process with many other agencies that are doing this as well. Another thing that I see people overlook is overlooking the sales process. So most agencies, sell via a consultation, which is great. But as you start selling digital products, you need to be able to sell from sales pages, sell from emails, sell from content, which sometimes might be a skill that you're not ready for and you haven't developed just yet. And so trying to manage multiple sales strategies and buying processes can create a lot of operational drag for you. Another key piece is not focusing on audience growth. So as a marketer, as an agency yourself, you probably don't market like you want to be and maybe don't have your content marketing dialed. And when it comes to selling specifically lower ticket products like digital products, workshops, things like that, or $2,000 to $5,000 courses and coaching, a part of the way that this becomes predictable and is a way you scale profits is your audience has to keep growing. So you need to be out in the market, getting people coming coming to you so that you can monetize that audience. So if you are not doing any sort of lead generation or audience growth yet, you might want to start there before just trying to monetize. And lastly, and this one's probably, I think, the most important, is getting caught up in what other people think that you should be or that you shouldn't be. The number of times I was told that, hey, you're an agency, you shouldn't go create a digital product, or hey, you can't add coaching alongside of your agency services, or why are you adding training? You're an agency owner. Most of those people aren't even in business anymore. And so if you get caught up on whatever label someone has put on you or whatever label you've put on yourself, I think that you should reevaluate and say, look, I'm doing this for my reasons. I'm trying to prioritize profit. I'm trying to prioritize fun and free space on my calendar. The more that I can sell without sales calls or without done for you fulfillment, the more white space I can have on my calendar personally, the more time I have for mountain biking, the more time I have for my family. And so finding that right mix for you is really important. So the word agency doesn't even mean anything anymore, right? So you could be a creator, you could be an agency, you could be a consultant, you could be a mentor, you could be an advisor. These are all just different ways to transfer expertise at the end of the day. So if you're committed to serving your market and serving at the highest level and living the life that you want on your terms, don't get caught up in what other people think, which is why I believe this concept, the alt agency model that we've been helping our clients roll out, is the best and simplest way for you to have multiple income streams that complement your skill sets and your life and continue to drive profit without necessarily driving your overhead. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can check out this video. And in that video, I break down a 33-page case study detailing exactly how you can build your alt agency. Hope you found this valuable. Let me know in the comments which of these ways you're going to try to monetize next.